My name is Meena Iyer. I am a counseling psychologist.
So this is Dr. Anuprati Singhai, and I currently am working at AIMS. I am a psychiatrist.
Dr. Anita Rego. I'm a psychiatric social worker by profession, and I manage the online telemental health platform called Amita Care.
My name is Gaurav Gill, and I'm a consultant psychologist with Manobal NGO, which is based in Delhi.
In my years of experience, I can tell you that what Shivani has said is actually correct.
Thank you, Shivani, for inviting me over. It's a pleasure.
And here I am to talk about why people are being so secretive about mental illnesses.
My forte is to understand the non-verbals of the other person and helping in understanding where is the other person getting stressed when they're actually not talking about their situation. So if the other person is saying, I'm happy, but still they are not. So I do counseling of victims of the trafficking survivor, sometimes who've been victim of domestic violence.
And who we also run training programs for NGOs and corporates.
People with mental health issues are very secretive about their conditions. And why not? I mean, just imagine a society, just imagine a world which is full of stigma and misinformation.
They don't trust where they go, they don't trust the people they work with, they don't trust that their own body and their own mind will be able to cope with the situation. So I feel that is one of the chief reasons for being secretive.
I constantly hear stories about, patients in my OPD. They come and tell me that, they disclose about their condition to the people around them, their friends, their colleagues, and they were made fun of.
Also, sometimes what a therapist may perceive that they are being secretive may not essentially be true, because they may not know that something which they are not open to share has got a very important bearing on their treatment. So unknowingly they may be not sharing certain kinds of information or concealing some stuff or not coming out with it because they feel that it's not important and it's not relevant.
How do you really expect people to open up about their mental health issues? Very difficult, isn't it? Who would really want to be looked down upon, be laughed upon, be made fun of? Nobody.
First of all, nobody immediately comes up and talks about their issue. So how do I encourage them to come up and talk? Is I let them talk. See, whenever somebody comes up and tries to go to a counselor or a therapist or a psychologist, is because of the fact that probably at their home, nobody is listening to them.
More than secretive, it is more in terms of how they are presenting themselves. Because they are present that my husband is beating me, I'm feeling lonely, I'm feeling isolated, I'm feeling rejected, I'm having problems at the workplace. So they are coming out. Our problem is that we are not able to identify that as a mental health issue.
There is a certain stigma that goes around. And when somebody is suffering from a mental disease, maybe it permanent, maybe temporary, the people around them start judging them, start behaving around them very differently.
Why it feels as though they're keeping secrets. Another thing, since there is a question about secrecy, I wanted to say that in a family, in an organization, secrecy creates toxicity.
And these negative experiences kind of reinforce their belief that they should not really disclose their mental health issues to anyone. And mind you, this also results in decreased help seeking. People with mental health issues actually don't reach professionals because they are having this fear of judgment.
People are not open about sharing from the heart, about being authentic about their thoughts, feelings, opinions. The environments slowly get toxic. Also, there is this whole distrust which builds up, and that this one can't be told this, that one can't be told that. So in most organizations, the toxicity that people talk is this lack of openness and lack of trust.
And I did a session on perinatal mental health for the whole group. In the group that attended the program, 75% had issues with regard to perinatal mental health.
Having a mental illness completely should not shatter your life at all.
Stigma and misinformation are two biggest reasons why we as a society have led these people with mental health issues to be secretive about their problems. Instead, we should be more informed, more aware, because as a matter of fact, we all know now that mental illnesses are due to certain changes that occur in the brain, and these are not mere things which are there in their minds. These are due to actual biological changes that happen in the brains of people.
To some extent may give you some amount of relaxation and support to work through your immediate crisis, but if you want a sustained change, then you need to have services which will be more sustained.
The only thing that smile is meant for expressing joy or pleasure. But out of 19, only 6 are for happiness. The remaining 13 are masked smiles. I can be scared, fearful. So it helps me in seeing a lot of unexpressed emotions. And also, these people do not share because they feel that one, people would not understand them.
The other part I see is that people have difficulty in coming is because they therapy works out to be a little expensive for a lot of people, because they look at it in terms of where if I have to go and get a haircut done, I probably am spending some 900 rupees.
And how is self awareness going to come? Is by talking to somebody you can trust. It may be a mental health professional, it may be, maybe just an elder a brother or sister, or, maybe somebody who's a coach or a mentor, someone you can trust.
Such increased help seeking can definitely reduce stigma and help people to be more expressive about their problems.
But when it comes to therapy, they find it a little difficult to think that I have to pay these charges for a session. And that's where we probably will have to look at workplaces on how they can cover under the mental health insurance that is going to come in.
Nobody understands their feelings, nobody understands their emotion. If you talk about something as depression or stress or anxiety, the family members usually brush it off and say, it's all right, you can just go out with your friends.
To grow and evolve out of my problems brought me into this whole realm of coaching and healing and psychology and everything. So, in the last, say, 13 or 14 years, I have been into this work, and I think I've really found my calling.
Otherwise, this leads to a whole lot of issues in people with mental health issues. They start to have stigma centered towards themselves. They start to blame themselves from their condition, because sadly the misinformation really promotes this kind of self stigma in these people.
Mental health concerns are as biological as any other biological disease, like COVID, for example. Now, for COVID, the irony is you can still do an RT-PCR test or any other test that the doctor prescribes.
And how do we really advocate for insurances for psychotherapy? Because as of now, only when you're connected with the hospital can you get psychotherapy. So many of the insurance don't really look at therapy under the insurance schemes.
So, I would give the utmost importance to understanding yourself.
So we should be very careful when we are talking to someone with mental health issues, and we should be very careful and mindful of our language, of our body language, that they should not be feeling sorry that they came out they came out to you about their mental health issues.
But for mental health issues, for stress and anxiety, there is no blood test as of such to say, you're high on stress, you're high on anxiety. But it will cause all biological issues in your body.
And have a certain amount of feeling for people who are dealing with mental health issues. The first thing is advocate for the rights of the people with mental illness, because most of the issues that are there, nobody thinks it's their issue. The only thing that they do is probably say that, oh, that person has a problem.
Try to see how they see the world, and then you'll be able to understand their feelings without trying to inject your feelings into it.
How can we be more kind, compassionate, more understanding, more respectful, rather than being dismissive, being accusatory, being like making fun of the person, making it a gossip chain? So if we can stop that element, then probably we will be able to help help people better.
Now, what can really professional help do? I need not speak about the kind of impact that people with mental health issues, when they seek help, can really get.
So you'll find it surprising, but even normal people who don't say that I have mental illness, they suffer from trust issues. Let me ask you, when you go to take a flight, how many times do you check in your handbag if your boarding pass is there? Or if you're traveling abroad, how many times do you check if you have carried your passport? Right? We don't even trust ourselves. हम बार बार check करते हैं,
The message that I'd like to give to the people who are watching this, I'd like to say that mental health is not a destination.
Because with the years of experience that I have seen, my teachers have taught me, they've told me, people who seek help actually get better.
So when people call us, then, or people want to be friends with us, we can't trust them. We don't trust people, we don't trust ourselves. And therefore there is a need to be secretive.
And there's a range of treatment modalities with which we can really help them. Psychotherapy, a very common treatment modality. Psychiatrists, clinical psychologists, all are empowered to have this tool of what we would call counseling in common language. It really helps a lot of people with certain set of mental health conditions.
It's a journey, it's an ongoing journey on which you have to work. Just the way that you think of your physical health, you think of how to maintain your daily health routine, doing 10,000 steps, you should also take care of your mental health because they go hand in hand.
Psychiatrist, a clinical psychologist, or a therapist is something which will take the treatment of these mental health issues a real long way.
Possible, there is an act that gives you power. There are things that you can do with the act. So learn about the act and see how you can help, how you can use that to get people get services or seek services.
People who are going through mental illness suffer is lack of trust, and trust is a very basic thing.
So I would say embrace mental health because that will propel your life forward and that will make your life worthwhile.
So my request to all the viewers of this video is that we treat people with mental health issues with equality. We should not look down upon them because today it's them, tomorrow it can be you. Let's be empathetic and help our friends, our peers in getting out of these mental health issues by seeking professional help.
Come forward, because mental health is not something that the industry really wants to fund, because they want a lot of AI based stuff. They want a lot of technology. Mental health is not technology, it's a service point, and it requires a lot of funding and a lot of commitment to the cause, a lot of professionals that are there.
And it could even be a book written by somebody who's a master in the subject of self-awareness, because without knowing yourself, it's absolutely very, very difficult to navigate this challenging journey of life.
But if you have changed people's life, if you have brought quality of life to people, look at the number of people who would be saved or who would be benefited from the little help that you're given. And that is a value that putting your money in mental health would add value.
Feeling very independent and free to speak about their mental health issues. It is us in the society who can bring about this change.
You are the most important thing. And I don't mean that in an egoistic way, but I think the biggest problem that human beings face and that society faces is the lack of self-awareness.
If we together as society decide on what we want to do with such issues, I think we can heal the society from within, and we can also curate a better version of this and make these people's life better.
And again, everybody is talking about self-love. You open Instagram, you open anything, you just see self-love. But if I don't know who I am, what is the self that I am then going to love? So self-awareness and self-love, most important messages. Thank you.